Video mitigation is a creative tactic that enables legal professionals to bring their clients' humanity, dignity, and complex histories to life. By helping secure reduced sentences and alternative treatments, these videos are restoring people's time with their families.
So many of our clients suffer trauma, poverty, violence, racism, food insecurity, lack of good education, lack of good health care. We were telling these stories in writing, and I became concerned that the prosecutors and the judges couldn't really appreciate who individually each client was from the hundreds of written reports that they receive on the client's behalf. And all these words on paper blend together. And when I saw the impact of video mitigation in federal court, where through video, one can understand the client's issues, one can see their family, see where they're coming from, I thought, we can create this at the Legal Aid Society in state court. And so we embarked on this project, and I couldn't be more excited.
Before the video, we had no opportunity. We had no guidance. We had no way of telling our story. Neil had no way of telling his story. All he had was the case over his head, and you gave him a voice. This project gave him a voice. The video allowed him to speak, and it allowed people and the courts to see him as a person rather than a mistake he made 20 years prior.
It's easy for a judge to read a report that says, your client struggles with mental health issues or substance abuse, or is the survivor of significant trauma, which is the experience of many women who I represent. It's one thing for that to be on paper. It's a whole other thing for a judge to see that from your client's own perspective. The court is essentially sitting face to face, right, with your client through this video and hearing your client discuss her life and circumstances. And I think that's something that, when we're talking about being able to display who our clients are and making sure that courts have an understanding of who they are, no one's going to say it better than the people that love them. No one's going to say it better than the clients themselves. And in terms of the supportive services that that they can be connected to, no one's going to be able to say it better than the actual service providers.
I've used mitigation videos in my work to really show who my clients are, who their families are, who their support networks are within the community. And I think it's really helpful because the judge is then able to see their total life and who they are as opposed to just the crime that's charged on paper.
I've had across-the-board success. They've been complete game changers. Typically when I've used it, it's when we've exhausted the paper files, the paper PPIs, the bench conferences, the talking to the DA. Every single time it's helped turn the corner between a jail disposition and a non-jail disposition.
I think that the video really showed the humanity that Augusta had in him. It gave us an opportunity to see some of the struggles that he was going through and to hear it from his mouth personally. He was battling cystic fibrosis and battling colon cancer while being incarcerated. And that's something that no one should ever have to go through alone. By getting out, he was able to set some good examples for the younger children in the family. By getting out, he was able to spend quality time and impart some life lessons that he had gathered over the years to the younger ones around him. By getting out, he was able to show himself that he can make positive steps towards his own progress and his own development.
This work is a collaboration between filmmakers, legal minds, families, clients, and community members, all committed to creating impactful video. We're also partnering with organizations like Witness, who are helping guide our ethical use of video, helping us develop standards for how these videos are produced, and share these practices with others.
My goal is to see public defenders across the country use video mitigation. We're also partnering with law school clinics and colleges to introduce students to these concepts and teach them how to approach the work in a strategic, ethical, and compassionate way.
He's 28 years old. He was raised by his mom, who we got to do a pre-interview with on Friday.
Whether students are going to become prosecutors, public defenders, or just members of the bar, this is a really transformative experience for them to understand how to advocate very powerfully for their clients, bringing in their client's narrative, their life experience in a very passionate and authentic way. And this really is the wave of the future. And we owe it to our students to train them to be able to do this work, to advocate in ways that are going to be powerful going forward.
He has a New York State ID. He has a driver's license. He feels like he belongs here, and he had no sense of that before. We were like spinning around, just looking and looking and looking, and it's like you guys were a godsend. Honestly, really apologize for getting emotional. Yeah.
If Augusta had remained in jail, he would have died sooner. He was released in March of 2020, and he passed in April of 2021. When he first was released, he was on the verge of death. This release extended his life, even if it was just for a year. It extended his life because there's something that love does, something that being around people that actually care for you, and then also getting adequate health care on the outside.
So this project is saving lives, or what I like to say, saving time. Time in prison, time away from the family, time away from your community. And it's important because this project creates the space for a client or their family to tell that story, the story of their lives. What's critical is that this gives back the power to our clients or the loved ones to tell the story that then makes the difference. This project should be across this country and in every public defender office.
My goal is to get support for what we do so that in turn we can help other legal advocates bring video mitigation and this powerful storytelling technique to their offices to fight on behalf of their clients.